So now we're on episode 371 for our podcast. And on this show, we're going to talk about the insights, or we're going to give insights on what's the current situation in the supply chain in China.
Yeah, let's do this.
Welcome to the Global from Asia podcast, where the daunting process of running an international business is broken down into straight up actionable advice. And now, your host, Michael Michelini.
All right, Aubrey, we're in different situations. I'm locked down and I can't leave until March 8th here in Shenzhen. Not every part of Shenzhen, certain buildings or communities, but I'm in a community that's locked down till March 8th. So you are not, though, right? What's happening with you?
Yeah, and fortunately, I'm on the other side of things because I've already joined a great community building here in our area. And yeah, I've joined the Empower Camp wherein we deal with different environmental issues and we come up with a great project for the environment.
That's
And I'm
awesome.
really, yeah,
That's
and I'm
cool.
really looking forward for that. And I hope you can join us too as well in the future. You can be here in the Philippines as well.
I
I believe we're
know.
currently opening the borders,
Wow.
but I'm lucky you're on the lockdown. So yeah,
It's
maybe
always more fun in
hanging.
the Philippines, right? Though, isn't that what they say? It's always more fun in the Philippines.
Yeah, I believe so. And
I actually, one of my friends is in Ukraine, and there's the war happening, and the bombs are dropping, and they're trying to get to the Philippines. I don't know why he picked Philippines. He's a foreigner. He's not Ukrainian. He's from the U.S. So he's picking for some reason Philippines. He's trying to get to Philippines. So maybe maybe you can welcome him if he gets there. It's really crazy times right now. But
sure, I've also heard about that news, and I think it's quite relevant to our current topic because it will somehow affect the cost in the shipping, right? Especially it
true.
affecting the cost of the oil. And
Yeah, the oil prices will go high. Good one, Aubrey. Yeah, I know oil prices have shot up. I mean, we're not talking about the Ukraine war. I mean, we're in Asia. It's kind of Asia, maybe Russia, but we mostly talk about China and Asia, Southeast Asia. But which is today's show. We got Eric. He's in our GFA VIP members community, and he's really knowledgeable, and he does logistics himself for many years, and drop ship and B2B and air and ocean. And we've had logistics a couple times on the show, but I think it's always a popular topic, and he shares some numbers and rates, and we talk about some of the history. And I think it's good to just do a little bit of state of the shipping, and he gives some recommendations as well. So let's tune into Eric now. And thank you to our sponsor, our returning sponsor, Mercury.com, online bank. Well, it's a real bank, but you can do it totally online for US. Our Blimp program participants are going through this as well. Thank you, Mercury. Travis is great there. He's been on our show. He's been in our events. We're going to have another event where we will have them attending as well. And if you want to get a little bonus for you and us, if you sign up and do some special circumstances, you can go to globalfromasia.com/Mercury. I also have a video tutorial that we use even for the Blimp people. I use the same exact video to learn how to use it. I hope you can check it out. Totally free. Why not? See you there. All right. Thank you, everybody, for choosing to listen to it. Global from Asia podcast. I think this episode is one that people always like, is like on the ground insights of what's happening here in China. So I wish I could meet Eric in person. We've met in person recently, but I'm locked down, so I can't go meet you, or we can't meet. So we're doing this online, but it's great to have you finally on our show here, Eric. Eric is in the community, so thanks for being here, Eric.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Thanks for inviting, and all these topics. I'm pretty interested. I hope that my experience and some insight can help you guys, get through this 2022.
For sure. So yeah, we're 2 years into COVID right now. We're recording this right at the end of February. I think it will be published early March 2022. When I don't think any of us predicted 2 years later it would still be a discussion. And I think it was great to have you on the show, Eric. You worked many years in logistics for both B2B and B2C, and you have a lot of good insights on the ground here. So do you want to just give us a little bit of background about yourself for people to understand more?
Okay, so we run a company here. We help Chinese sellers and also foreign sellers to ship their product from China to other countries. And so what do most of our customers are from like a B2B. And in terms of shipment, B2B is the biggest. And also, but in terms of customer numbers, we see the B2C have the most of customers in terms of numbers. And those customers are falling into the category like Amazon, Shopify, and drop shipping as well. So, and some personal customers as well. So this is what we basically do. We help a customer to ship product from China to other countries.
Perfect. Yeah, and great for the topic today.
Yeah, thank you for that, Eric. And also, I remembered I was supposed to have you as a guest host instead of being the guest. So thank you so much for always supporting this community.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, we'll have Eric as a co-host in future episodes. Honestly, I hope I could meet with you. We could even go see some different facilities and things like that. I think that's going to be something future this year that we're going to do together.
Sure, no problem. That's what I'm also expecting.
Perfect. We'll make it happen, man. Always make it happen here. So I think before we get into kind of the status or the state of the supply chain, I think people are familiar in the community, but maybe we'll just go through some of the different, I call them buckets of different logistics services that are most popular from China, export side of B2B, B2C, so people can understand the most common ones that people are using.
Okay, so traditionally, most of the shipment will be with B2B. So that means container, FCL, FOB. But as the e-commerce evolves, we see very traditional terms are kind of getting away from most of the business, or especially the new entrepreneurs. So we are now talking about like I don't want to deal with anything else. I just want to have the shipment delivered to my storefront or delivered to my customer's storefront. So let's say if you want to have like bulky shipment, or that would be, we would say B2B. So in terms of B2B, in most cases we'll use, like, first of all, the most expensive one and the quickest one will be the International Express, like UPS, DHL, FedEx. And also then, but it is the most expensive, the quickest one. And also then following the categories, like some customers may not have the knowledge or the resources to do the custom clearance. That will be the DDP. So the DDP can go with air freight. That means we book the cargo flight space and then deliver to the airport in for example, USA maybe goes to Los Angeles or New York, and then there will be custom clearance agents who will handle everything and then deliver to the storefront of the buyers. And if the customer have their own ability to the custom clearance, that will be like a port to port. Let's say we book a container and then we just deliver to the container yard in the destination country. And then the buyer will hire a custom clearance agency and also local delivery company to pick it up. So it's pretty easy. So in terms of B2B, so you go with like Express, like DHL, UPS, FedEx. If you have very big volume, then you go with a container, by sea freight. And if you have the ability to handle everything, you may hire a custom clearance agents and local truck company, which will save you a lot of cost. And then you have the whole transparency of your cost structure in terms of bringing the product back to your own country.
Yeah, so thanks for that, Eric. So how about in China and the status of drop shipping there? Do people still use B2C drop shipping for retail orders to the overseas market?
Okay, drop shipping is on the rise, still on the rise. So it's a dilemma for me. So on one hand, we see that drop shipping is a good business model because on the other hand, because you have to deal with a lot of new business owners, they will ask a lot of questions, and and the whole growth trajectory is it's very slow. Okay, but in terms of drop shipping, so there are also a few shipping methods. The quickest one will still be UPS, FedEx, but it's very expensive. In most cases, I will not suggest because it will add up all your profit. And also there's one term that called virtual warehouse. That basically means how can we do it? It's basically we use a big box of UPS or DHL and I put a lot of small parcels inside. And then we deliver to a local US warehouse. And then the local USPS come to pick it up. So the whole delivery time is only 5 to 7 working days. Sometimes if there's no holiday, everything is very smooth, it happens in just 5 to 7 days. It's a very quick experience. But this service is only available for the US market. And because the US market have the most favorable trading terms. But for other countries, there will only be like, in China, we call it like special line. So this kind of special line work with like, let's say, for example, we have all these parcels come to our warehouse and we do the consolidation, and then we use cargo flight and ship to US or ship to Europe, and then do the customs clearance, and then the local company come to pick it up. And these shipping methods, we can also address the problem of custom clearance. So that means buyers or any user does not have to deal with the custom clearance. And for these kind of shipping methods, used to be in the US and then Europe. Now we can see that now it goes to South America, it goes to Middle East, it goes to South America. It's getting more and more popular, especially for those people who purchase from AliExpress or from other sourcing agents. So this is the very most common drop shipping method.
Great.
So the total shipping time from China to US, so this kind of specialized service is around like 12 to 15 calendar days. And to Europe is shorter, it's around like 10 calendar days, more or less. And to South America is something like 15 to 20 calendar days. And to Southeast Asia, it can be quicker. Sometimes it's only 7 days, or sometimes it's like 10 days. It's not stable, but still in the time range. So this is the most commonly used shipping methods for the drop shipping service provider. So there are very big service providers like Wind Express, like 4PX, and also there are like a lot of small service providers like us, because the whole operation is not that complicated. So what you need to do is you have all those parcels come to your own warehouse and do the consultation and send to the destination country, and then you have good contract with like in US, USPS. If you are to German, maybe the Deutsche Post, and then the whole operation can start to run. So this is the mostly used shipping method for drop shipping.
Awesome. Thanks, Eric. So I'm wondering, I know everybody probably is curious to price, and it might be hard to give an exact price, but maybe like before COVID, after now, like price range, like for a lightweight item to the US. Is there EPAC anymore? Okay. No more and EPAC, it's gone, right?
EPAC is still going up because it's much cheaper. It's much cheaper. It's still going up. So let me take one example. Let me just grab one product, maybe beside my hands.
Perfect. Yeah, examples are the best.
For example, this is a gimbal. It's a gimbal, but this one is there's inside there's this built-in battery inside. So let's say this one is 500 kilogram, 500 grams, like 0.5 kilogram. So with battery, it goes to you as, let me think, let me do a simple calculation.
Yeah, just a range, and we won't hold you to the quote, but it's an idea there.
So I think it's around like it's around like 12 to 13 US dollars.
Okay.
This one.
Got it.
Still affordable for those people for those sellers who have the ability to have, who can sell with a higher retail price. I think it's still profitable. And because for this guarded in China, domestically, it sells around 200 RMB. I think for US market or Euro market, it can sell like around 70 US dollars. So there's still a margin.
Okay, that's great. And then for ePacket, you said it's still, I thought it was going away, but I don't follow. I'm not too active in this type of service.
It is still available. For example, some people who sells on a Wish or sell on AliExpress, Whereas some people run their own Shopify or WooCommerce store, you want to have a very low shipping price, it's still the e-pack still can be available.
All right, interesting.
Yeah.
So
I think it's more and more.
go ahead.
But the thing is, more and more sellers are getting away from e-pack because it's too slow. So given the reality that PayPal or Facebook or Google is actually have a very strict policy on this shipping time. So let's say if a package, because with the e-packet, sometimes 15 days, sometimes 30 days, sometimes 40 days. This is very unstable, so which would jeopardize the status of many sellers like PayPal or Shopify or Google accounts.
True. Just before I left the Philippines at the beginning of coronavirus in March 2020, there was a drop shipper at an event I spoke at, and it was a big drop shipper. And he says he didn't know what to do because he had thousands of orders and they were all by PayPal and they were drop shipped. And, like you just said, the biggest danger is your merchant account, right? Your payment gateway. And I was really scared for him because obviously if you lose your PayPal, especially if it's your main channel of sales, it's really hard. So I don't know. I hope he made it at that point. It was right at the peak of.
My suggestion for those people who market, especially on Google, they should be very careful with their shipping time at the beginning, at least.
Exactly. Yeah. Drop shipping is always a little bit. Yeah. Saying it takes longer than you expected is better than less, right? Because if somebody doesn't get it when they think they're going to get it, they get upset. They call their credit card, their PayPal, etc. It can really destroy your business if you lose that account.
Especially those people who drop shipping from AliExpress. You should be very careful.
Yeah. It's
sellers on AliExpress, they cannot have this service from us because the platform control it. So the platform outsource the shipping service to a third party. The whole processing time is much longer than you expected.
Got it. Didn't know that. Thanks for the insight. Okay, moving from drop shipping back to B2B, I think a lot of sellers, more B2B is of course like could be private label or they want to have their own stock in the US for faster delivery or more control. So, there's of course air and ocean. I think Aubrey will talk to you about ocean, but let's start with, air freight from China. I know you do a lot of this, I think, to the US and other places. Just maybe we can talk about some rates now and cartons, so, the feasibility, things you've been seeing, timeframes. I'd love, honestly, I'm even maybe need to talk to you about this too for a new brand. I think I showed you the Excalibur Brothers. We're probably going to need some air B2B cartons soon. So I think people.
So in terms of air freight, so the current market is frozen. So we have been seeing the air freight price has been dropping for more than 2 weeks since the end of the Chinese New Year. And still keep dropping. So if you have anything want to ship with air freight, just do it as soon as possible because now it's the best timing because it's very cheap now.
Wow. That's good.
But in the long run, I think this year, the air freight cost will still keep on a very high position because at the beginning of 2022, when a lot of logistics company booked the cargo flight space, the price is very high. So the only reason now that the price keeps dropping is because there's no shipments where the factory just started to manufacture. Because, for example, today when I went to KFC to order my coffee, or see outside there's a lot of factory just put a desk down the road to hire more labor workers because they want more human resources to manufacture. But from manufacture to a real product, that takes time. So now there's no product to ship. If there is somebody want to ship with a low price, now it is the time point. But maybe I think after middle of March, the price will come to pick up, and because no one wants to lose money. So when there are no product to ship, so the air freight or the shipping company will raise the price at least, because they have to in a long year. But now this is the lowest point.
I understand. Yeah, actually, I wish I had it ready now, but probably be when it gets more expensive because production is starting, right? So we're not ready to ship until at least 2 or 3 weeks. So yeah, I mean, probably we'll need to send our shipments when it starts getting more expensive. I guess because but it seems like that's what everybody's doing, right? I mean, nobody has stock right now because Chinese New Year is finished recently and production is getting started. So probably will need it when it gets more expensive. But I don't know. I know it's tricky to say exact numbers and rates, but can you give us a little bit of an idea over the last couple of years, the graph, like verbally, like costs for these things? I know we talked a lot when there was the PPE craze. I guess people are still doing probably PPE. I'm not involved in that anymore, but there was the PPE craze when it started. That was insane, right? Like the costs of air was maybe at the highest, or am I wrong? I mean, you're in this more than I am. But
the highest point is in, I think, around like April or May 2020.
Yeah.
And it's tripled, at least. Yeah. But compared before the pandemic, so the air fry price still doubled.
Okay, that's helpful.
Yeah. And I think let me have a look. Where's my I don't know. Now air fry, I think it's around like currently it's around eight or $9 per kilogram. That include tax.
All right. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, I think from April or from March, I think we'll go around will be 30% more.
All right.
Yeah.
How about on the ocean freight from China to USA and other countries? How about the rates of containers? Can you give us the brief summary of the rates right now?
The container, the price of container is still very high, but the LCL is the price has been dropping. The logic is the LCL price is come from, let's say, for example, Mike booked quite many containers, right? So the container cost will be on Mike. So in order to make money, he will have more goods to come to the container and then ship to other countries. So that means like that will be the stock on Mike's hand. So in order to have less loss, so you have to drop the price to collect more goods. But for the container, it is still controlled by the carrier. So the carrier, for a short term, they will not lower the price of the container.
Yeah, they're making so much money. I could share some of my memories of numbers before, but I think, yeah, like a 40-foot container from like Shenzhen to LA before COVID was like $800, $1,000 US.
Yeah, $1,000 something.
That was around $1,000, and now I don't even want to ask, but I know. I mean, I remember it was up to $20,000. I hope it's lower now. I don't know. I know you maybe don't want to share exact numbers because it's changing all the time, but
at least $12,000 a container, at least.
Crazy.
Yeah. So in the short term this year, as for now, the LCL price is dropping due to less shipment. But in terms of container, the price still remain high because it is controlled by the carrier. But the LCL container was booked previously by the freight forwarder. So in order to have less loss, they will drop the LCL price.
Got it. Which kind of leads to the next question. And actually, Evergreen is one, right? Like, is that a carrier? Evergreen, they're really popular.
Yeah, they own the ships.
Yeah, they're so rich, right? Like they're so rich because they have the ships and they make so much money. I mean, I heard they gave so much bonus to their team. I don't know if I know it's not in our outline, but I don't know. It was crazy, like how much money they have.
I'll share you a personal insight. One of my uncle, he's very young, and my very young uncle. So they are very traditional booking agents. So they have long-term contract.
Yeah.
they have around like, so their price around 7,000 US dollar, a 40 HQ container. So their company policy is you should not sell less than 13,000.
Crazy.
So they just lay down and make money.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. I mean, and I guess they're getting used to it, right? So that's why we think prices won't come down. They just can enjoy that. Enjoy is a bad word, but enjoy. So, okay, so now I think we kind of went through some of the numbers and the basics. I think we can switch now a little bit into
some have lock-in long-term contracts as well.
Yeah. Perfect. Go ahead, Aubrey. Yeah, great.
Long-term contracts with ocean freight companies, right?
Okay, so in terms of long-term contract, the freight forwarder, since the pandemic, the freight forwarder were not able to have the so-called long-term contract rate because the carrier know exactly how much money you make. So the carrier want to make more money as well. So first, the freight forwarder were not able to have the long-term contract rate anymore. So only those very big shipping trading company or very big factory, they may able to have this kind of very low rate. Let's say, for example, if for example the shipping rate of Apple or Foxconn, right? They have a very low, like long-term contract. So if anybody has a very good relation with this very big trading company, and if they are able to share the price, that will be also money printing machine.
So I mean, I don't know. I could ask, like, I know some aggregators, and I heard they said they pay $3,000 for a container because they got a long-term contract, and they're still paying that now.
Yes.
So I was asking them, could I use your contract? Could they do that? If I'm like a separate seller, I mean, I could pay them extra, but I mean, they weren't sure because it's their contract with their logistics provider. But is there any hack that they could let me use their contract?
Okay, it is possible, but it does depend on the relationship and also how you guys can smartly use their system. I think there are some hacks for sure.
Yeah, they don't seem so willing to share their rate, honestly. But I will try to get them.
Some of them they want to make the money, so you say, "Oh, maybe I pay a little bit more to you."
Yeah. How about another? Is there a way like people in the community could save money by like sharing shipments, as a group, like smaller sellers consolidating?
Yeah, there is. So there is, in logistics. So the very simple or root logic is the more you ship, the less cost you will have. So, but this can only be done to a certain country. For example, we have around 10 buyers from the US. So what we can do is we book a container and put all the goods in one container and ship to a assigned address in the US. And then the buyers and then send their own trucks or their own local pickup company and to do the thing. So this is how we can, break it down the cost.
That's pretty cool. So then just to follow up on that, and then Aubrey has a question, but would the one importer though, right? Just one customer. Yeah.
So that means we in China, we work with one exporter. In the US, there will be one importer.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of trust on that from the
there's trust on it. But given all the facts of international trading, so who does not trust will not have the room to do business.
Yeah, it's all trust. Yeah, it's true. That's why it's great to have relationships and community.
True.
Yeah, so we're really thankful for all the insights, Eric. And of course, there are some other ways that people can defend themselves in these challenging times, right? We believe on that. And maybe you can also provide some other insights wherein the Amazon and e-commerce sellers right now on how they can protect themselves from the increasing costs and other risk.
So anyway, let me share the recent market situation here in China. So
Sure, please.
most of the Amazon sellers here in China feel a little bit less confident, where because they see the orders are dropping, they see the costs are rising, and more sellers are flooding into the Amazon marketplace. So as far as I can think out of the box, maybe especially for people outside China, if they can work more on the marketing side to do customization and to have a better supply chain control. This is in general the idea. I think they can have some chance to win. But still, if still goes you goes to a sourcing agent, you want to buy this, want to buy that, you follow the common path, there's little chance to win over this very saturated marketplace.
Yeah, I would agree. Agree.
So that means you should be very good at like marketing to let like let's say US buyer to feel that okay, this is a US company, a US made product or US designed product. So this is a real person, USA person, American behind this brand. And also you can provide them good service, good product with a good price. I think it can add up the winning chance. But if you just go through still a normal, you source from AliExpress, Alibaba, you will end up finding, okay, this product has already been sold by others.
Agreed.
Yeah, and find a long-time partner here in China who can provide some up-to-date market information, and also who can help you to really protect your trade secret, design, factories, those. Otherwise, the more you sell, you will see that you have more competitor, just follow behind.
Agreed.
Yeah, because I'm not saying Chinese are bad, but because China is so big, there's 1.4 billion people. There are always people who does not follow the rules. So you gotta find someone here who can protect you from the root, especially in terms of supply chain and physical products.
I would agree for sure. Thank you so much, Eric. It's great to have you on the show.
Yeah.
And we'll have to do this in person soon when I get out of here March 8th. But we can do some future shows together, show some facilities, like I think print on demand, right? Or any, like you just said, customization to differentiate.
Print on demand, and also some manufacturers who are able to accept like not a very big MOQ. So I think this kind of have your own product will be the key, because you will see more and more Chinese sellers getting on the way to make their own brand, from really design or modify the product to making a very good brand image. So that will be the future. And I think Chinese sellers are also learning fast in terms of marketing. So we all have to work hard.
Agreed. Thank you so much, Eric. So this was a fascinating discussion. And what are some good ways people could, find you or your business online? And we'll link it up. Yeah.
Just join the community. You'll find me, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you're in our community and also in GFA VIP. So it's great. And yeah, we'll also see you more on future shows. So thanks again, Eric.
Yeah, welcome.
Okay.
Yeah, have a good day.
Well, thank you, Eric, for sharing. That was really insightful. What did you think, Aubrey?
Yeah, and I think even though I'm not really in that space, I can understand what he's talking about. So it's really insightful.
Yeah, so we're always preparing for the launch of the Excalibur Brothers brand on Amazon and the Blimp Method program. So I think we've said it before. We have four in our beta program that were accepted, and we are putting them through the system now. So what's happening is I wish, like you said, the interview, I wish we could ship right now, but we're still not ready to ship. Production's still getting started. We're going through production samples right now. So they're receiving here in my quarantine apartment. And Luciano's locked in with us. I didn't say that. He's locked in with us. So it's kind of good. We'll be working even harder together. We're talking about it all the time, Aubrey, at dinner and breakfast. And so that's a positive from lockdown. But, hopefully we'll get the production started in a week or two for these different products. And then, of course, ship it out. But Eric did say after the recording to have some by air and some by sea, right? So you get some there right away and some slower. So you don't delay the launch or the selling or run out of stock, which is a good strategy, right? Send by air and by sea. Of course, it makes it more complicated, but it also allows you to maybe maximize your price savings because air is going to cost more than sea, but you can get some speed in there. And then maybe even send more by air in the future if you run out of stock and you need to get it there fast. But yeah, the ocean is a little bit trickier. There's so many stories. Honestly, we're trying to launch a brand in Thailand in the US. I think you know about that one. Didn't share too much here, but that's been delayed for almost over a year and a half because the ocean shipment from Thailand to the US is out of control, expensive, and 20,000 plus US per container. So just waiting for that on a long-term basis. But yeah, we'll have another Blimp call next week, Aubrey, right? With our Blimp Mastermind participants. And
so we will have our second monthly Blimp participants call. I think we've already scheduled every first Wednesday of the month rather.
Yeah.
So I'm already excited to hear about their progress and their business as well. And of course, to share what's the progress on our side.
Awesome. Yeah. We always keep things moving. And we'll also have an update podcast probably soon. Maybe with Luciano stuck here with me, we can just sit next to each other in this room with Aubrey and talk about it in the future. All right. I think that's it for this week's show. Thank you. Thank you all. And of course, show notes. I think with the URL is a little bit long this time, but globalfromasia.com/podcast is always a good one to go to see.
So thank you, everyone, and enjoy listening or viewing. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
To get more info about running an international business, please visit our website at www.globalfromasia.com. That's www.globalfromasia.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to our iTunes feed. Thanks for tuning in.